when it comes to SI joint pain, a lot of times when it creeps up on people, they will think that it's back pain or something going wrong with their pelvis area. After the pain settles down, it becomes localized, or if you get it diagnosed by a healthcare professional, often, and it's diagnosed as SI joint pain, there's a couple things to remember when addressing it and working on it, and how it differs from regular back pain or regular hip pain. Two things that you really need to remember and work on is, number one, mobility and movement in your low back. And number two is to work on your core when it comes to your abdominal area, but also in your hips and pelvis. So really remember, those are two things that you really need to work on, and we're going to address those in these 5 exercises. And also remember, as I'm going through this Facebook Live will be about 10-20 minutes long, so it'll be on for a while, and Jenna's watching for questions that come in. So if you have a question if you have a question, you can leave it down below and we'll answer it. Even if it's after this Facebook Live is done, myself or one of my team members will get back to you and respond to your question. Okay, let's go through the exercises. I'm going to bring Jenna up, and the first one we're going to do, knees to chest. Okay, this is Jenna. Oh, everyone knows Jenna. Jenna does the Facebook Lives on Tuesday. So if you saw the one on Tuesday, I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure to give Jenna some feedback. So the first one is knees to chest. Okay, so this one, you're lying down on the ground or on the bed or on a plinth or on a bench. So what we're using here is like a portable massage table, and that kind of brings up a good point. A lot of times the complaint people will say is, I can't get on or off the floor. What you can do is do the exercises in your bed. So going from standing into your bed or onto the couch, so you're not having to go all the way down to the floor and back up. So with this one, you're lying on your back, hands are to the side, you're relaxing the upper body, so shoulder, neck, head area. Then you're going to bring both knees to chest, and then pull it a little bit further, and then back, and then move into the next repetition. So when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5, time would be smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the end position, intensity is light, and the purpose of this exercise is to work on that low back mobility and movement, to work on loosening up the hips, and also to work on any tightness that's happening in the glutes, hip area, low back area. Because a lot of times when an injury occurs, what happens is all the muscles tighten up around that injured area in order to protect and guard it and prevent further damage from occurring. And what you need to do is educate the body, saying everything's fine. You can loosen up that tension around that injured area. We're working on helping and healing it. So that's the first one. Now the second one, figure 4 stretch. Okay, good. So same position, lying on your back, relaxed in the upper body, so head, shoulders, neck area, feet are flat, knees are bent. Then you're going to cross one leg over, and this might be enough for you. Just getting into this position might be enough. Another progression is actively using your glutes to bring that knee out. Thirdly, you can do as Jenna's done, back down, okay, cross over and take the hand, and you can push out and stretch things out. And then the last step is you can do as Jenna's done, bring the knee up and intensify that stretch in the glute area, or specifically piriformis. Okay, and then you kind of switch sides. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 2, time would be you're trying to build up to 20 seconds. So you might start off with 5, then progress to 10, 15, and then 20 seconds. Intensity is light, and make sure to pick the correct progression that works best for yourself. Now, you're looking for a light stretch. We're not trying to rip apart the muscle, we're looking for a light stretch. And what you'll oftentimes find is one side is tighter than the other side. So make sure to go through both sides. If you find that the tightness is different on both sides, that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine for it to be that way. Now, what we're targeting specifically with this exercise is the piriformis. And that piriformis muscle oftentimes will tighten up in order to protect and stabilize that SI joint. So we want to address it with the static stretching. And the reason why is what I talked about at the start, or maybe the exercise before, where everything tightens up around that SI joint in order to protect it. So we've gone through 2 of them. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them down below. If you've done some of these exercises, let us know down below. If you know someone that might benefit from this Facebook Live, make sure to share it with them. And then lastly, if you have any other tips, like if you've suffered from SI joint pain and you've had some tips that have helped you, please do share it down below, because this idea or topic came up from the discussion on the Facebook fan page. Okay, moving to number 3, supine knee rotations. Okay, good. So we're back in that position, lying down on your back, head, neck, shoulders relaxed. And then Jenna's got feet flat on the floor, knees underneath the hips. And then you're going to bring the knees to one side. And then you're going to bring the knees to the other side. And just rocking them back and forth. Good. Now, looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5 on each side, so a total of 10. Intensity is light, and the purpose for this exercise is to dynamically stretch the muscles around the hip, pelvis, low back area. And once again, to loosen them up so it allows that SI joint to heal and recover. Okay, moving on to the 4th one, bird dog. So we've gone from the stretching and now we're going into that core, working on the core. And looking at the other things that I've mentioned, make sure to let us know where you're watching this from. And if you have any questions, just leave them down below. Okay, so Jenna's going to go through the bird dog exercise. Okay. Good. So starting things off, you're moving over, going into a 4-point position. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Knees are underneath the hips. You're going to tighten up that abdominal area. You're going to reach with one arm, and then reach with the opposite leg, and then back to the start, and then switching sides. Arm and opposite leg. And if that's too much for you to do, what you can do is just start off with arms. Just arm, and then back, and then the other side. And then you can just progress to just legs. And then the next progression would be the one that Jenna demonstrated, alternating arms and legs. Perfect. And now with this one, the sets, reps, time, and intensity. So sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5 on each side. So a total of 10. Intensity is light, and the purpose of the exercise is to work on strengthening those core muscles. So we're targeting the glutes and the hamstrings, which help with providing stability to that SI joint. We're also working on the core, abdominal core area, and that helps provide stability and support for the SI joint. And when we have good stability around and on that SI joint, that helps when it comes to recovery from injury, from an SI joint injury or SI joint pain. Okay, moving on to the 5th one. So this is glute bridge. Okay, good. So we've moved back down to the floor or the plinth or the bench. You're lying on your back, relaxing the upper body, so head, shoulders, neck area. Knees are underneath the hips. What Jenna's doing is tightening up the abdominal area, pressing through the heels, lifting the hips up, and then going to a point where your knee, hip, and shoulders are in alignment, and then back down. And then if this is too much, where you can progress is just lifting the seat about a hand width off the mat, and then going back down. Perfect. Thanks, Jenna. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5, time would be 5 seconds. So you're trying to build to a point where you're at the top position for 5 seconds. Intensity is going to be light. Purpose of the exercise, once again, is to target the core. We're targeting the abdominal core, we're targeting the glutes. Having those areas have good activation, endurance, and strength, decreases the stress on the SI joint, allows it to recover, and allows it to, to recover from the injury and prevent an injury. So that's it for me. This is Rick Caselge from exercisesforinjuries.com saying take care and bye-bye.